see
Hello. Yep. Okay.
I see Eric's on the line. I see Ike. So, and I see Amanda. I see Donald. Who am I missing? There's a 714 area code. Who?
That's
Mary
me,
and
Deb.
Frank.
That's Frank. And Miss Jones emailed me and asked me to resend the information. I sent it to her again.
Okay. I wonder if I should text it to her. She has trouble with her computer. Let me just quick text. Her computer, I think, acts up. Okay. So I texted to her in case she's having problems. Okay, and I see you, Chief, and I see Amanda. I know someone's on from headquarters. Is that maybe Suchitra?
No, that's Brian is logged in basically as Murtaugh because the account is under Murtaugh's name. So we need that logged on in order to host the call.
Okay, all right. Well, hopefully Mary will get to join us. Did everyone successfully get the agenda that had been sent out?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Okay,
Yeah.
so I know this is kind of weird, but I like doing the Pledge of Allegiance anyway, even though we don't necessarily have a flag. So let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So I pledge allegiance
To the flag.
Flag
Of
of the United States of America,
To
the republic for which it stands,
one
one nation,
under
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with liberty and justice for all.
Good. Thank you.
Good thing we're not a choir.
I know.
Got that right.
Okay. These Zoom meetings leave a little bit to be desired, I'll tell you. I look forward to when we can have face-to-face meetings again, to be honest. But I don't want to subject anybody to the coronavirus, and I try to be careful, but you just never know who we come in contact with. So even though we have masks on. Okay, so the next thing is the approval of the minutes from the June 8th meeting. So do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Deb, can you talk? We can't hear you.
Okay, let me turn my volume up.
It's like we hear you fine, Deb, and then you cut out.
Okay.
Yeah, if you turn your head, it goes way down.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm working with Comcast. There's something wrong. My MIP speed is not what it should be, and I'm in a Xfinity nightmare right now, going round and round with them.
Nightmare.
Advanced technical team, and they still can't explain why my internet isn't very good. Okay, I'll try to stay pointed forward. Do I have a motion to approve the June 8th meeting?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. That was right. Okay. We don't have anyone from the public on the line, so I can ask, do we have any public comment? All right, Chief, your report.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, as long as you can hear me. All right. So of the firefighters that we had attend recruit school here in headquarters, 3 of them went on shift over this past weekend. One firefighter took his firefighter written 2 exam last week, and we expect the results sometime around Wednesday. So, and then that will be the last of those firefighters to be on shift. We have had, as we normally do, several firefighters that have found other opportunities in different states, at least 3 currently in the last few weeks. So as we're trying to get them in, they're going out. But I still have made the decision right now that we weren't going to send anybody to the South Carolina Recruit Academy, which currently they say is going to be a hybrid program, half online and then half in attendance, but they really don't, they have not conveyed the particulars of that or what that class would look like. So we're just going to hold off for a while because we ended up being pretty strong with the amount of employees that we had leading into the coronavirus for the first time since at least I've been in here. I did want to say while we're on the topic of the coronavirus that obviously we know numbers are rising. We have purchased additional masks and equipment for this wave of the first, and then as we probably know, a second wave in the fall, or might be an uninterrupted one wave into the next. And I don't think at this point anybody really can tell us what to expect. So we did have another test positive. We have those results today. So far for St. John's, that's a total of 4. We've done our own contact tracing to notify employees that were potentially exposed by this individual. That notification went out and they are in the process of scheduling their tests. So it's a fluid situation. You know, we're obviously not happy that we've had 4 positives, but my belief is the city of Charleston has had 40. So in that regard, I guess we're not doing too bad. However, if you look at the zip code numbers, if you look at the CDC's website or DHEC's website, the zip codes 29455, as well as James Island, as well as St. Andrews, the cases are increasing at an extremely rapid rate. So this isn't a time for us really to let down our guard. And in doing so, I had contacted Deborah to let her know that we had instituted a mask wearing policy inside headquarters and at all of the fire stations when they are in the common areas. Very difficult to police firefighters when they're off duty. So in order to keep other firefighters safe and their families and their children who have been working diligently to help protect those people from firefighters who may be off on the weekends doing whatever they had wanted to do, whether it was partaking in the local beverage facilities that are now closed again. That was the best reasoning that we could find. And obviously, people aren't happy with the fact that they have to wear face masks in the stations. And as you all know, being able to distance yourself is easier in some stations other than others. Some of them have private rooms and some of them do not. So some of them have to wear their face masks a little more often in some stations than others. But I'm not sure in listening to CDC guidelines if there's any other recourse that we can come to at this point in time in order to try and keep everybody safe. So that being said, that's where we are with that. And that has gone on for the last 2 weeks as far as wearing face masks in headquarters in the common areas. If you're in your office by yourself, obviously you can take the mask off. But if you're moving about, we have them wear their face masks in headquarters. Maybe you're not aware, and some of you were here when we built headquarters, we do have different air handling systems in the offices. Some of them share air handling system and HVAC, but we don't have any way to open the windows here in headquarters to bring in any fresh air other than if we put in a positive pressure fan and open the front door and the rear door. So it is what it is. We've looked at stepping up the HVAC maintenance, and we'll see how that works out as far as cleaning filters and maintenance, not only in headquarters, but in all of our stations. And I spoke with our maintenance personnel today about that, as well as Chief Gilcrease, who heads up facilities maintenance. They have started to prepare the site at Station 5 for the training prop, which is really good news. We were going through, and I'll let Suchitra go on a little bit with this further. We were going through what it is possible that we were being billed from, who am I thinking of? Who? Yeah, Howland Howe. And what we may still owe for the plumbing issue, but we haven't gotten a bill or I don't think anybody has yet gotten a bill from Gary Otter for the actual work done at the site. So I think Steve Coe said he had forwarded us some of the invoices, but we don't have a complete balance sheet yet of what it cost us for that repair. And then Suchitra had come up with some other things. And so she was looking at it from the audit side of trying to close this out. So I'll let her discuss about that a little later. Let me see. Oh, I did want to say that we've had pretty positive comments about the STEP program that was implemented as of July 1. I wanted to see the total cost of that for implementation for right now was in the ballpark of $71,453. Now, what that did was also take away those bonuses that we give at the end of the year, take away the longevity from people that it applied to because the STEP program provided them more monetary value than either of those two programs. So they kind of, valued out each other. And so with the cost of the district for the first year of $71,453, which I think really is pretty reasonable. And for the firefighters, I think it's a really good program that will offer them incentive to keep moving forward. I think that's it for now. Unless you have something.
We start the second boat, we have better service now.
Oh, the small boat. Yeah, we did put the small boat in service. So that's one positive thing. And then obviously we were down one squad when it got into an accident a couple of weeks ago. That has all been sent to our insurance company. Glatfelders is handling that. We can talk a little bit more about that in an executive session. We initially thought that they were going to total that vehicle, but at this point, that's not the case. They are going to repair that vehicle at a cost about $6,000 less than it would cost to what we paid for it. So, but I'm not an insurance company, so that is what it is. So other than that, I'll turn it over to Chief Gilcrease and he can give you the response data for the month of June.
How's everybody doing?
Okay.
So in June of this year, St. John's answered the call 281 times, 159 times on Johns Island. Wadmalaw had 33, Kewah had 59, and Seabrook had 30. This is the second quarter of the year, so I just wanted to go over the automatic aid or the auto aid received and given for the second quarter. Second quarter to we actually received aid 219 times and we gave aid 281 times. Again, most of those are city of Charleston. We went into the city of Charleston 270 out of those 281 times, and we received aid from the city of Charleston 171 out of those 219. We had a little, came up and down a little bit, but everything kind of came out in the wash on the response times for the second quarter. CDC call processing time was up a little bit in 62 seconds, up from 57. The turnout time was up a little bit to 76 seconds, but our travel time actually dropped down. We went from about that 8-minute and 10-second mark down to about 7.5 minutes of total response time. So that's it, unless anybody has any questions. Hearing none.
All right.
All right.
Good evening. I'm just going to go ahead and slide on in with that. On that note, without any introduction, I need no introduction.
Right.
I know Again, the Citizen Safe program is still suspended due to COVID-19. We are fielding some emergency responses for smoke alarms, and to that effect, last month we did do 15 smoke alarm installations. We are trying to do as many child safety seats virtually as possible. I know we did 3 virtually, and then we had limited contact with 1 individual on an emergency basis last month for a child safety seat as well. So that is fire prevention.
Okay, thank you, Chief Gilcrease. Chief Kunitzer, appreciate that. There was something else I wanted to go over, but I can't remember it. Maybe I'll remember it when we get back to it. I did want to plant this seed about the amount of money from Gary Otter, because I'm not sure what that invoice will look like. But we want to go over that in executive session and a little more about the accidents in executive session. I had a conversation with Donald Howe today in regard to one of those, and then what we're doing as far as enhanced training and moving forward on that, so that we make sure that we're meeting the needs of our personnel. So I think we also have an opportunity right now. We were notified by the state emergency management going through the feds in order to move forward with the process of trying to recoup some of the money that we spent on COVID supplies and overtime. So Chief Gilcrease and I are involved in that process now. I'm not sure what our reimbursement will look like, but I just wanted to make you aware that we are moving in that direction to try and recoup some of those costs. But that's it for now.
Okay, thank you. Chitra, I think she's in the room with you to do the monthly financial report. Is she there with you, Chief? Yeah, I don't see Suchitra on the line.
Yeah, let me unmute. She's on her way here. Yeah. Come on.
Good evening, everyone. So we discussed in the Finance Committee meeting the June 2020 financial reports. So I just wanted to make sure that document this as a draft, because we do have several journal entries that needs to be done for the year-end process. So for now, since it's the end of the year, we don't have any more budget remaining for the year, but we do see a surplus of 9%, but this does not include the accrual, the payroll accrual, and the year-end journal entries. Our bank balance is at 6.5 million. The LGIP is at 11,584. June collections for the month of June was 50,159. And this includes the sale of one of our vehicles, 2008 Ford Crown, in the amount of 1,700. We also received an annexation revenue from the Charleston County for $42,077. Wire transfer from the Charleston County for the month of May was 74,330. The non-standard year to date was about 309,000. Our geo bond was at 7.2 million. And again, this is a draft. I also wanted to go over the, I hope you all got the dashboard from the month-end dashboard, the financial dashboard, so we can go over that. I basically have the year-to-date property taxes. When we did a comparison from last year, it increased by 15%. And the May tax revenue that we received in June was 74,000, and the year-to-date collection was 14.3 million. And compared to last year we had got 12.5 million. Year-to-date operating expenditure for the month of June was about 1.2 million. It's an increase by 896,000 it increased from 896,000 from previous month. The year-to-date operating expenditure is at 12,756, and compared to last year, it was about 11,952. The operating cash was 6.5 compared to the last month, it was 7.6, and there is a correction in that third line. It should be last month and not last year. I just wanted to make sure that you correct from your side as well. So it's 7.6 million last month, and then the year to date is 6.5. Year to date last year was 5 million. So we are, I just wanted to let you know that the operating cash is basically our fund balance, because that's what we have in our fund balance. And then the bond cash is at 7.2 million compared to 15 million that we had last year. And that's because of all the capital, expenditures that we have with the Station 6 and Station 5. Non-standard overtime year to date is 309. Our year to date last year was 507. So we did good with the non-standard overtime this year. Our staff efficiency for the current month is 90%, and it's been consistent. The HR dashboard, our current requirements are 139, which includes 21 officers, 33 engineers, 66 firefighters, and 19 admin. Our current staff is at 132 with a 7 staffing need of firefighters. Any questions on anything at all on the dashboard or the financial statements?
No question.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, teacher. If there aren't any questions on any of that, she did define that the operating expenditures also includes the excess funds that we have for emergencies or hurricanes. So I think other than that, we'll come back if you have any questions for us as you do your reports.
Okay, attorney update. Donald, do you have anything for the general session?
Yeah, just briefly, 2 things. Number one, we'll talk about it more in executive session, is that a lawsuit has been filed by Christian Meade, and it has to do with an accident that was a couple of years ago, I think with the big truck. Is that right, Chief? And I talked to the attorney handling the case. I'll give you our attorney, our insurance attorney, and I'll give you an update in executive session. So that's number one. Number two, just to follow up a little personal information, but I know Bill Tomei will remember Ed Buckley. That works with Jason Daigle's senior partner.
No.
And he has had the COVID virus from a meeting at work where a couple of people came with no symptoms and didn't wear masks. And he was really, really sick for 3 weeks. Had to go to the hospital a couple of times for IV fluids and stuff. So don't let your guard down. He was in a setting that you would think everybody was professional, careful, and they just sat in a room and a couple of people didn't wear the mask, and had they worn it, he probably wouldn't be sick. So just be careful. That's your lesson object for the day. And that's all.
Okay, thank you. Is there any old business that anyone wants to discuss? Any new business that someone wants to discuss? Okay, Bill, will you do the building committee report, please?
Yes. Station 6, we had a meeting on the site to discuss the stormwater drainage issue in the front apron. That meeting was with our civil engineer, Bill Feller's firm, and Kika engineer, and the architect, Steve Coe. And they actually put their heads together and had a solution in about 20 minutes, which surprised me. After all this time, it's been banded around here. But anyway, a design has been put forth by Bill Feller's firm, and that design is being priced right now by Choate, is my understanding. So that's it on Station 6. Station 4, the project is currently billed at about 25% complete. Grade beams have been poured on top of the piles, and masonry walls are starting to go up, or columns, and that masonry work will continue throughout July. And this Friday, they'll start pouring concrete in a very quick fashion, and they'll be pouring the 14-inch thick and 8-inch thick structural slabs for the bulk of the building. And they'll start that pour at 3 o'clock in the morning, if any of you are interested in attending. And we'll continue through 7 p.m. So actually you can just drop by anytime during the day. I'm going to be there for hopefully a fair amount of it, but I'm not going to be there at 3 in the morning. So we do want to thank Tony Elder for allowing us to do that. Chief sent him an email, and he agreed almost quickly. I mean, instantly. I think it was within a half an hour he answered back and said absolutely no problem, with lots of contractors and 25 loads of concrete coming through the gate starting at 3 in the morning. So that's it on those two. Eric, do you want me to say anything about the main road property now, or you want to say that till you're strategic?
You can go ahead and say something about it.
Okay. For those of you that don't know, I'm sure practically everybody does know by now, the seller of the 825 Main Road property did accept our last proposal, and his attorney is still in the process of putting together a contract, and we should have that tomorrow. And as soon as I get that contract, I will forward it to you, Donald, and to everyone else here. And we get a chance to review that and make whatever changes, or propose whatever changes we want to, I guess. So that's moving forward. At this point, when we do sign that contract, we do need to cut a check to the owner for $25,000 as a down payment, if you will. And then we would have 60 days to perform some environmental tests and a couple other things. We want to check out the septic tank and the water system and so forth, and zoning issues. And then during that 60-day period, that $25,000 is refundable. If we find something wrong, if we can't get zoning or whatever, or we find something else wrong, then we can back out of the deal. If we go beyond that 60 days, then we have to put down another $25,000, so to make a total of 50. And then we have 120 days to finalize all of our background checking and so forth. So we wouldn't expect to have the money together until about January to pay the full amount. So that's where that stands. That's it.
On the finance report, we met on the 9th, and Sue Teacher just went over the draft for the year end, June 30th, 2020. The auditors are going to be coming early August, so we'll probably talk about that again in the August commission meeting if there are any issues that they've identified. But I know Sue Teacher did a great job last year, so I'm looking forward to that again this year. So the bulk of our meeting, we talked to Gary Pope, who is our legal consultant for bond issues. And we talked to David Cheatwood, which is from First Triumph, and he's our financial advisor. And we talked about issuing bonds in the future. And we can talk about this in executive session, but Eric is going to coordinate a strategic planning meeting, and we really need to firm up, what is our projects and our possible purchases and what's our timeline, so that we can then start giving that information to do some drafts on the bond issue. Mac Guile, when I sent him an email warning him that we had a purchase that we were in the process of working on and that we may have to issue a bond in the next year to pay for that, his reaction was about no mill increase. So we did talk to the consultants about that, and I think there's some ways that we can, work around that. We can talk about it more in the strategic planning meeting. And again, we'll talk about that in executive session, try to schedule it. But, I think we got a positive feedback from both of them that we could go forward with a bond issue. We just have to, like I said, firm up our strategic plan. So that's it for the Finance Committee. Any questions? Okay, Steve, I don't think you had a human resource meeting.
Took myself off of mute. No, we did not.
And as I mentioned, we didn't have a strategic planning committee recently, but we're going to talk about that in executive session. We're going to schedule one so that we can firm up some of I'd like to come up with a plan for like the next 4 years. So identify purchases, projects, and try to map out timelines. And I know there's a lot of loose ends on some of it, but try to at least get a draft so we can start working on that. Okay, any public or firefighter comments? Okay, commissioner comments. Bill, do you have a comment?
I do not.
Okay, Steve, do you have a comment? Okay, Bob?
I have no comments.
Steve, I saw you talking, but you were muted. Did you want to make a comment?
I was saying I was trying to get my cursor to the mute. I do not, thank you.
Okay. Eric, are you still on the line?
I'm still on the line. No comment.
Okay, Leroy?
Yes, ma'am. Hey, we want to tell Bill, thank you for all the hard work and making sure that we got that acquired property. I know he did a lot of hard work with that. I hope everyone has paid attention. They're in the process of getting all the applications and all the environmental studies done because they're going to widen Main Road and Bohicket Road. And it's not going to start until next year, but that's going to impact the fire station, well, the headquarters here and my church. So we're going to have to watch and see what they do. So just want everybody to be aware.
Okay. And I'd like to talk about that a little bit more in executive session, Leroy, because I did have some questions. Frank, do you have any comments?
Deborah, I just wanted to thank our command staff at the fire department for excellent job with all the protective equipment that they've ordered, the additional masks. So thank you, Chief Walls, to you and your staff for ensuring the firefighters have been adequately protected. And I just want to thank all the firefighters. The last couple of months have been challenging for everybody, so I just want to thank everybody for the hard work and continuing to positively represent the district and the citizens that they serve. So thank you for everybody's hard work. Stay safe.
Hey, did you have any comments?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I just wanted to reiterate what you said just now about the fact that the chief takes the time that to keep the personnel safe and everybody along that line. And also that when we go about checking the grounds and everything at the packing shed, to have it done real thorough because the shed's been there a while. I'm excited about the fact that we have the opportunity to purchase and that we can move on and have as less problem as possible. That's all I needed to say. Thank you.
Okay. Mary, were you able to join us? She's been trying to call in and she's been having problems. I've been texting her and trying to give her the information that was on the email, but I guess she's not having success.
Yeah. No, I just texted her back the executive session number.
Okay, so maybe she can at least call in. Okay. Yeah, because that's a totally different service. My comment, I have a couple comments. One, thank you, Bill, for all you've been doing for us to try and purchase 825 Main Road. I know that you've even worked ahead to try and identify some vendors to do the environmental study. And I appreciate all the time that you've put in. Eric also, he met with the next door neighbor and asked them some questions. They did remove the gas tanks from next door. So Eric's been doing a little bit of research. And Chief, I appreciate everything you're doing with this coronavirus. I know it has to be a huge challenge. And I know you have a challenge with some of the personnel that may not be too thrilled about wearing masks in the stations and the headquarters, but I really think from what I'm hearing in the current news and the current science that, you know, the masks do help for people not to give it a coronavirus to someone else. It obviously is going to help you that much. And I think that's some of the criticism of people don't like wearing masks and it being hot and, you know, inhaling carbon dioxide. But the whole purpose, if they pay attention, the masks are for you not to give it to someone else. So I think they're missing the whole point. Okay, so that's all that I have to say. Anyone else want to make a comment? Okay, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session. We're going to discuss some strategic planning items, Station 6, the accident with the squad, and we'll also discuss in more detail the lawsuit that Donald mentioned. So what you need to do is the email that the chief sent out, at the tail end of that email had the conference information because we're going to switch from Zoom to a conference call. If any of you have trouble seeing that information, text me and I will text it back to you. I can't announce it on this public Zoom meeting, but I'll either email it to you or I'll text it to you. I am online. I do have my email up. But let's, do I have a second to go to executive?
Second.
Second.
And everyone in favor, aye.
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 I guess that phone.
Is that an aye?
All right, well, we're gonna drop off.